what do you have to offer to bring to the table? What do we have to offer? We have 20 cases of pure gold, and if you can win 5 of them, then we'll let you go. Fair enough?
Sounds fair to me. The soldier was then brought to the table, where he took a seat and the big demon took the other, and they began to play cards. For a while the soldier was doing very well, winning 3½ of the crates of gold, but just as he was getting cocky, things started to take a turn, and the soldier's luck seemed to be running out. They played for well over an hour, till finally all the soldier had left to offer was his sack and his life. Deciding that it was his only chance, he went all in, and the big demon did the same in response. As the soldier slowly placed his cards on the table, all the demons roared with laughter as the big demon showed his. The soldier had lost. The soldier couldn't move due to the realization that his life was about to end, as all the demons crowded around him, ready to tear him limb from limb. The soldier's mind had left him. He started pleading for his life, but with no avail. "Please, dear creatures, I have never harmed anything. Please let me go," was all the soldier could think of.
Never harmed anything? Then why, when we found you, were you cleaning blood from your hands and sword? Was the big demon's response.
"Well, that's because I got a cut on my hand when sharpening it. Look, see?" The soldier presented his hand to the demons and showed them the cut he had received when he was cleaning his sword.
Okay then, so what? It doesn't matter to us if you're a good or bad man. We're still going to enjoy you for our supper.
But what about my immortal soul? Even if you kill me, my soul will still go to the kingdom of heaven. And wouldn't it please your master if in your time on earth you brought him more souls for hell?
Our master doesn't care what we do. We escape from hell, and the minute we get back down there, we're toast.
Well then, doesn't it make more sense to try and please your master, so that when you are back in hell, he will be happy with what you did instead of punishing you?
Yes, that does seem to make sense. But how do you propose that we find people damned to hell?
Well, I think at this point the soldier was stuck. He needed to think of something quick, otherwise he was doomed to be demon food. But then, in a single second, he had a brilliant idea. "I know where you can find an extremely evil man."
Really? What's he done, and how do you know him?
Well, on my travels, I came across him. What he does, see, is dresses like an old beggar and waits for good-hearted people to come to him. And once they're there, he grabs them, kills them, and eats them.
Really? Well, that's the sort of man that would please our boss. But still, how did you come across him?
When I was walking, I came across him and tried to give him a biscuit that I had, and in a single moment he whacked me over the head and dragged me back to his camp. Once I was there, I could see the corpses of many travellers like myself and knew that I was in danger. So I quickly got my hands free and took hold of my sword, but then the man noticed me and chased after me all the way into the forest. In the end, he caught up with me, and I was forced to fight him, and luckily for me, I was able to push him into a tree, and he was knocked out. I then ran off and found us, and you found me shortly afterwards. The demons looked at the soldier, very intrigued by his story, but the question on the soldier's mind was, do they believe it? The demons gathered together and discussed whether the story the soldier told them was true or false. After about 10 minutes of talking, and the soldier sweating throughout the entire thing, the demons finally turned around and said, "We want you to take us to this fake beggar so that we may find the truth for ourselves," announced the big demon. At this point the soldier was very worried, but he knew that this was his best chance to escape from these unholy creatures. "All right then, I will take you where I left him. Shall we head out now?"
"Of course not. The sun is out, you idiot. We are creatures of darkness, and darkness is where we must stay. We will wait for nightfall."
Once the sun had finally set, the soldier started to lead the demons through the dark forest where no human could see a foot in front of them. On many occasions the soldier would fall over or take a wrong turn, with the demons getting more irritated every minute they had not located the old beggar. It took them 2 days to reach the clearing. It would have been less, but the demons had to find a cave to sleep during the daytime hours. But when they finally reached the clearing, the body of the beggar was still there. The soldier looked at his horrific deed and felt such pain for what he had done. The demons slowly crept up to the body, and when they reached it, the big demon turned the body over to see that he was dead. He turned quickly towards the soldier, his face bulging with anger, and screamed, "Get him!" All the demons ran at the soldier and dived on top of him, bringing him to the ground. The big demon then approached the soldier and said, "Well then, you've taken us on a merry little journey now, haven't you? But now I think it's time that we finally had you." Then he came and nosed her away from his face. "We are so very hungry." The soldier was trapped with no way out. He thought that his journey had finally come to an end. Then a glimmer of hope entered him. As he looked past the big demon, he could see a few rays of sunlight piercing their way through the trees. One of the rays hit the demon holding down his right hand and started to burn him. He jumped away from the soldier in a panic to get to cover. At that moment all the demons were distracted, so the soldier quickly grabbed his sword and cut the big demon across the face. The big demon jumped in pain, and the soldier quickly pushed the rest of the demons off him and scrambled to his feet. He faced the demon, sword in hand, now protected by the sunlight shining the entire clearing. The demons ran off into the woods to get into the shadows of the trees for protection. 2 of them, unfortunately not being quick enough and bursting into flames. "Come on then! Try and get me and become like your friends here." None of the demons moved, just stared at him with rage. "Well, that's what I thought." The soldier then sheathed his weapon and turned around to leave. "Hey!" The soldier turned around to see the big demon standing in the shadow of a tree, holding his face, trying to stop the blood oozing out. The soldier stared at him with a smile on his face and asked, "Well, what would you like of me? You may have gotten away from us now, but don't you think this is the end? We will be coming after you, and when we find you..." An evil grin crossed the big demon's face. "You'd wish you'd never been born." And with that, the big demon retreated behind the tree, and the soldier very carefully found himself a safe route through the forest. Once the soldier had found his way out of the forest, he started to run, and run without looking back. He had no idea where it was he was going, but he was certain that he needed to be as far away from the demons were. He ran for miles and miles until he found a small village where he decided to stay at, as night was falling and he didn't want to be outside, just in case the demons happened by him. When he entered, he realized he needed a place to live, so he checked out his pockets and only found 4 coins. He looked around and saw a pub, so he went over to see if they had any rooms. When he got inside, he could hear the loud noise of the drunks, and when he had a good look around, he found that this was no pub, but a brothel. He looked around and realized that since he had left the war, he hadn't seen a woman. A smile crossed his face, and he strolled over to the bar and got himself a pint of ale. He looked around, checking out which of the women caught his eye. Then in the corner of the room was a gorgeous blonde. He downed his pint and went over to her to see how much it would cost him. "So gorgeous?" How much would it cost for a night of pleasure with you? Well, my good sir,